Hello guys, it's Chummaster Nerd. I have a BakuTech review. This is a re-review on the Holo deck. So this deck is something, honestly I'll just say right now, it's not a great deck, but I want to talk about this one again anyway because I don't think my original was too great, but just go ahead and get into this. This is Nozchi. Again, my pronunciations are not always the best, but I try. These are some interesting names, and I am used to saying them one way, and changing that is difficult. But anyway, so this thing, it is not great. So let me just kind of show you what it does. And it opens up like this. It has horns you could pull up there. I mean, it just kind of looks alright, but it's just nothing crazy. And yeah, it just kind of exists, and you can kind of under there maybe see 590 Gs, so not a very high G Bakugan either. Again, it just exists, and it has no cross pieces or no soul pieces or anything like that. It's just this. Now, and that just went in, okay. This thing is not... Yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. I mean, it takes up like some of the card, but not nearly enough. It doesn't really have any. I guess it's like kind of low to the ground. Its defensive capabilities are not like great though. There's nothing really special. I guess it's not the worst defensively, but it's not good either. Attack power of any sort is non-existent on this thing. No parts spring open very well, like to knock things off the card. There's no metal on this thing. There's even some like bumps and stuff, so like control on this thing isn't even like phenomenal. It's fine, it works, but it's just like, yeah, no, I can't give it points for anything really. It just exists. That's all I could say about it. And then if that wasn't bad enough, we have Mika Laurel. This thing is a meme. So, in appearance, I like this thing a lot. Let's open it up. So, I actually have to zoom back out for this. This is just what it does. So, it does have feet that come out, and you could pull those out. They kind of go up as far as you want them to. Really, but... There we go. Looks like this. Still kind of too tall for the camera, a little bit. That's fine, but this thing's just funny. G power is 590 again. So this thing, how is it? So first up, occupancy. You could just tell this thing, it just does not occupy a whole lot of the card. I mean, vertically, like, if we had a challenge for, like if Bakugan was, like, 4-dimensional and we could have, like, Bakugan, or not even 4-dimensional, just, like, you could drop Bakugan or something, then this thing takes up a lot of vertical space. The problem with that is it doesn't matter. There's no reason to ever take up more vertical space. In fact, it actually makes your defenses weaker, because when you get hit, there's more, you know, weight going back here, and it just, like some Bakugan, if they hit off their magnet, they can recover. This thing is not going to. That's kind of why being tall in Bakugan is not usually that great. Unless it's like for an attack or something. But usually being taller just doesn't help. Unless it's done like specific... Like, there's times where it could work. But this is not one of them at all. Again... this thing just doesn't have much attack at all. There's nothing for that control, nothing special. Yeah, it's just like worse than the other one. Both of the stock, kind of not stock, but like kind of just the extra filler, I guess you can call them, Bakugan for the deck that are, you know, exclusive to it. They're not very good. This one's even worse because its defensive capabilities are even less and has less occupancy. Again, unless we have some kind of verticality challenge, this thing is great, but that's not really anything. Now let's get to the actual, like, functional one of the deck, and this it doesn't wanna... Sorry, my sheet here is not cooperating. Anyway, Munikis is the one functional Bakugan of this deck, but even this thing I don't think is phenomenal. So it is, you know, darkest, and that's fun. But so it does have some manual parts. The feet come out, and yeah, there you go. And then the horns also kind of weird. These are always like really awkward to take out, but you kind of, there we go. Pull those up, and okay, here we are. So here's the Bakugan itself. Here's Munikis. And it just is a very awkward looking Bakugan. Sometimes it gets caught opening up. This is like a weird piece back here. G power is going to be 640. Right there. And yeah, this thing... Okay, so this is the only Bakugan in the deck to have any special pieces going for it. And I don't know, this thing is always offset for some reason. It's always been like this. I don't know why it does that anyway. Yeah, I don't know. Both of mine are like that. I think it's just a general issue, but anyway. So, only Bakugan in the deck to have special pieces. You know, has the two metal soul pieces, then these two plastic cross pieces on these arms here. Now, this is an interesting one. So it does take up a little bit more of the card, so I guess it has a little bit more occupancy. Defense works fine enough, nothing crazy. I guess you can attack with this thing if you have the 4 metal pieces. I mean, like, nothing really springs open for attack, but I mean, having 4 pieces, you know, you get the weight. You can. But the main thing is actually the control. This thing is kind of meant to do spin shots, and it does them pretty well. You get some spin shots going, you can attack. You have some options with this thing, but there's 2 problems. First up, I just feel like when it comes to spin shots and stuff, I'm gonna be honest, I'd rather use like Borg Mahesis or Kalukin with their kind of diagonal metal, well not metal, but diagonal cross pieces that can be swapped out for metal cross pieces. The diagonal is just like, or having diagonal cross pieces is just interesting and gives you more options and gives more unique movement basically. This isn't bad at all. Like, this does its spin shot job well, and you could definitely argue it's better, but I just don't really feel like it's that great. And honestly, like, not even... I wouldn't even want to use Borg Mahesis either, because this is kind of the second issue, is that it's Darkus. Darkus is easily the most stacked attribute in this entire line. So something like Kalukin being a Ventus type, if you want to use like a Ventus deck, okay, that's working pretty well there. If you want to have like a spin shot or trick shot, whatever you want to call it, type of Bakugan with those diagonal cross pieces, as long as you swap them out for metal. It becomes a pretty solid Bakugan that you can definitely use on a Ventus team if you want to. But when you have something like this that doesn't have a crazy gimmick, because again, when you have to compete with things like Yodan Jafor, Zeta Munikis, Ozpress, Sanzu Halabos, this just doesn't really get a good spot. Is it still a solid Bakugan? Like, not counting 36mm, just 32mm? Is it good? Yes. Is it the best? No, but it is still, like, pretty good. You got the spin shots, you got some attack. Okay, cool. There's some stuff going for the for this specific Bakugan, Munikis. And, like, getting this thing on its own, yeah, sure, I get it, you know, it has some cool ideas. It's just a cool Bakugan in general, but... These two guys right here, we'll set them nice together here. This deck is something. So just like a personal score, I'll give this deck probably a 7 out of 10. I like it. Shinazuchi is like okay. It's really basic looking. There's not a whole lot to it. It kind of just seems almost like a original series, you know. Legacy Bakugan, but with BakuTech, you know, paint, which is kind of cool, actually. I've never been a big fan of Munikis. I think maybe it's because this thing's just really weird as back piece, and I don't like that too much. It's, like, okay, though. And then Laurel, okay, this thing's a giant meme, and that's This guy's kind of hard carrying the score, not gonna lie. I like this thing a lot just because it's funny. But for a competitive score, I'm gonna give this deck probably a 2 out of 10. It's really, really bad. Again, Hollow Munikis isn't anything to like go crazy over. And again, 32mm only. Okay, sure, you got some good stuff there, but even then, it's not like phenomenal. It's still like really good, but it's not like, I mean, like I'd still say like for darkest size Tavenel's better, but that's kind of a different thing. That's more attack oriented. This is like, yeah, I can, but like spin shots and stuff. But anyway, so Shinazuchi just doesn't do anything. It like exists and like it fills a space on the card. I guess you could say double stands or something, but like, who cares? I mean, there's so many other Bakugan that can double stand, but also are like functional. This thing really isn't. Michael Laurel just, like, you're just asking to lose if you're using this thing. It's like a negative score. It's really, really bad. It just falls over, and that's all it does. It has nothing else going for it. So yeah, this deck is really not good. I do like this deck just for like, I like the color schemes of these two. Hollows is cool as well, like the dark purple going on. I like that, and they do look cool enough. Mostly, and this guy's just funny, but like competitively, yeah, I can't be nice here. It's it's really bad. There's nothing going for it, and also the fact that this is also our only full darkest deck that was ever released as a product anyway. And man, again, a darkest, the most stacked attribute, and you're giving us Hollow, which is pretty good, but like the other two might be the two worst darkest Bakugan in the game. And again, when you're competing with, within his own attribute, it just doesn't do well. And it gets even worse when you open up to other attributes where you have more options. And yeah, nothing here is going to work. Again, Hollow, I don't want to discredit Hollow. It is good. Like, Hollow on its own, it's pretty good. Again, like I've been saying, it's still pretty good. But like the other two, yeah, no, these are, no. Yeah, no, that's all I gotta say. 2 out of 10 for the deck as a whole. There you go. That's the Hollow deck. It's funny. Yeah, that's all I gotta say for this deck and for this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, and bye bye.